Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, thanks for checking me out. So what we have today are what I like to call surf and turf wedges. So I have put some potato wedges that I've made, and I have topped them with some grilled shrimp, some shaved ribeye, some real bacon, and Alfredo sauce. And OMG, they were so good. So make sure to stay tuned for the video so you can watch the recipe and see how this all comes together. Okay, so what we're gonna start doing is obviously make some potato wedges. So you can make them into wedges. You can make skinny fries, regular fries, whatever kind of, you can actually do this on a potato any kind of way that you want. I just chose to make wedges because I think it holds up better than like a skinny fry, but you can, cut them however you please. So I did wedges, and then after we've cut them up, we're going to drizzle them with some oil, probably about 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil, canola oil, whatever kind of oil you like to use. And that'll help the seasoning stick to the potatoes and also help them not to stick once they go into the oven. And then we're just going to go ahead and season them up. I've added some paprika for color, and then just whatever you like to have on your fries. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, whatever you like to put on your fries, you're going to put them on, and then you're just going to mix that up. Okay, so now that we have our potatoes cut and seasoned, we're just gonna put them on a cookie sheet. I put some foil on top of mine because this is a well-loved cookie sheet. It's been through some things. So we're gonna put some foil on it, and then I also sprayed it with a little cooking spray so that they won't stick. And then you're just gonna pop these into the oven, maybe at like 400 degrees. And then you'll check them maybe after about 15 minutes. Just stick your fork in them just to see, make sure they're soft on the inside, and then you'll flip them so they can get color on both sides. All right, so now that we have our potatoes in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and get started on our sauce. So I just have a few tablespoons of butter here, and I'm throwing in some garlic. What is it called? Minced garlic. Oh my God, I just lost my whole train of thought. So I threw in some minced garlic. We're going to get that heated up and stirred up together. And then we are going to throw in some flour. And that's going to help thicken up your sauce. So we're going to throw in some flour, and then we're going to whisk that all together and get it all well combined. Once we have our flour mixed in so it doesn't taste like flour anymore and it tastes a little bit more like butter and garlic, then we're going to throw in some chicken broth. Now, if you're following my videos, you know that I don't use like chicken broth out of the can. I use something called chicken bouillon paste. I'm going to insert a link here. It's called Better Than Bouillon. It's a base that you would add to water, boil it for a little bit, and it becomes your chicken broth. It has much more flavor than your canned chicken broth. So now we're going to go ahead and add some milk. And we're going to whisk that all together, and then we're just going to let it simmer and thicken up. Now that our sauce has started to thicken up some, we're going to go ahead and season it. Again, I don't like to tell you what seasonings to use. You like what you like. I like what I like. So you know what you want to put in it. So I'm putting in some seasoned salt, some garlic powder, some onion powder, the usual suspects, as I like to call them. And then we're just going to mix that up together. So you can't have a good Alfredo sauce without some cheese. Now, to be honest with you, if I had been thinking, I probably would have put in like mozzarella cheese if I had like thought ahead of time, but I didn't have any mozzarella cheese. I only had sharp cheddar. So I used the sharp cheddar, and I love that I used the sharp cheddar because it gave it a little bit of color. So instead of having like a white Alfredo sauce on the wedges, it gave it a nice yellowy, mustardy color to it, and I really like that. So I would do that again if I made this recipe again. I think that it turned out very nicely with the sharp cheddar. Okay, so I have pulled the potato wedges out of the oven. They are nice and golden brown. If you want them to be like extra crispy or anything or more color, you can throw them under the broiler for a minute or two, but I like mine just the way they are. So now let's get started on the steak. So I just have a pan here. I've thrown in like a tablespoon or two of canola oil, and now I'm throwing in the shaved steak. This is like one of my new favorite things to have is shaved steak. It makes really good like cheesesteak sandwiches and, for something like this. Or you could also do like, what is it called? Like the steak, egg, and cheese bagel. That would work really good with this meat. So I'm just going to throw that in, and then I'm going to put a little seasoning on it, and we're just going to let that continue to cook until it's done. And then our next step is we're going to add our shrimp. So I just put in a couple tablespoons of butter, and we're going to saute the shrimp. And there you see both of them going. And we are almost done. If you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and then that way YouTube will recommend this video to other people who might want to make this recipe. I don't know why they wouldn't. But yeah, give me a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already, because I have a lot of good recipes to show you guys. All right, so our potatoes are done. Let's go ahead and put this all together. So I'm just taking the wedges off of the cookie sheet, and I'm plating them on a nice little platter that I have. You can put it, on whatever, but I'm just trying to plate them up really nicely. One thing I will say is that I am a good cook, but I'm not a professional. So I like to elevate myself every time I make something, so that my presentation is on point, so that it looks appetizing, because I know it tastes good, but people eat with their eyes, so they want to see it look good. So I take a little bit of extra time now and just make sure I plate it very nicely. So now that we got our wedges on there, I've cut up the shrimp. I had some larger shrimp, so I cut them like into threes, like for each piece. And now I'm just putting the shrimp on top, and then we're gonna go ahead and throw our steak on top of that. And guys, I tell you, while I'm sitting here editing this video and like watching it through, I'm just having flashbacks of how good it was. This was so good. I mean, it's kind of a simple thing, but like all the flavors just came together so well. Now, I love potatoes, so that was a plus for me that it was a potato dish. And then with the steak and the shrimp and the bacon and the sauce, it was just muy bien. Muy bien? I don't speak Spanish, I took French. But yeah, let's now go ahead and top everything with our sauce. And you can, of course, put as much as you want. You can drench it in sauce. You can just drizzle it. But let's get that sauce on there. That just completes this meal. And then without further ado, we are going to add our bacon. Just some bacon that I fried up earlier and chopped it up. And we're going to add that on top. And now we're going to add some parsley, some fresh parsley. Let me just tell y'all real quick. So a couple years ago, I graduated from margarine to butter, and now I have graduated from parsley flakes to actually real parsley. It makes such a difference in the taste and in the presentation of your food, so I would suggest doing that. But guys, let's get back into the video. Look at how good this looks. This is delicious. This is definitely something you would be served at any fine restaurant. Look at that shrimp right there. You see it on the left hand side? Ooh, yes. So that is it, guys. Thanks for checking out the video. I hope you liked it. I'll see you next time.